It's time for the Orlando Lions Den podcast with your hosts, JJ, Eddie, Cleon, and Alex Brown.
And we're underway for this second 45 minutes. No score. The Rapids still have it. Into Nani again. Away from his man, gliding past one, then the other, with a shot! And Eunice Nani! You've arrived! You've arrived in Burgundy! The home opener, his home debut, and the new signing has opened his account.
Yeah, I mean, they have to score a goal.
Mueller making the run in the inside right channel. It's a great chance and it's in! Chris Mueller has levelled things up. He's got in between the back line. And with just a matter of minutes to go, 82 minutes, and Chris Mueller, as he did last year in levelling things up in Orlando, he's levelled things up in Colorado. With this corner kick, Price. His return to Dick's Sporting Goods Park, and that cherry is very much on the top of the cake. Drew Moore with what could be the winning goal. What a night it's been. Eunice Nani with his first for the club, and Drew Moore with his first on his return. Once this ball gets aerial, there is the final whistle, and the Rapids, for only the third time in their history, have started the season with back-to-back success.
Well, my home's not in glory, and my home's not in hell. I've lived in the Rockies, and I'll die there as well. And in the Golden Gate Canyon, Centennial Plains, home of all of my pleasures and all of my pains. Thin air in my lungs, knee deep in the snow. I'll die in Colorado come my time to go.
Welcome to another edition of Orlando Lions Den podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jason JJ Jose, alongside my three amigo clan over here. Cleon, what's happening, man?
Man, I'm good, man.
I'm good. You good?
I'm
you doing
good, man. Yes.
All right.
I don't know about the use of the word clan there.
Oh, Lord. Y'all are off the train, y'all right off the tracks.
I disagree with that.
2 seconds into the show.
I am voting no. I
Eddie?
do not want to be associated.
Eddie,
Offside flag.
Eddie, what's happening?
Offside flag.
Oh man, I'm here, man.
You're here.
We're here. Haven't seen people in a couple days. Keeping clean, but everybody be careful.
Are you working from home?
Yeah, working from home, and I'm still recovering. That I no matter how many times it happens, losing.
Oh, I thought you were recovering for something else.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, no matter how many times it happens, which has happened a lot to Orlando. Those late losses, just points dropped, never fun, man.
Alex, what's happening?
Eddie said that his job sent out an email and said, if you've been on a cruise in the last 14 days, you had to work from home. Eddie said, hey, my last name is Cruz. Is that good enough?
Working in my PJs. When it's slow, I got that FIFA 20 on.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. You been feeling all right, Alex?
I'm good, man.
I don't know. You was coughing a little bit at the beginning of the show, bro.
Hey, man.
We gotta
That's
go.
my inhalation prescription.
Okay. All right.
It's the medical thing.
All right. You can tell me, man. You can tell me.
No, I'm going on a cruise on Friday. I'll let you guys know if I got a fever.
I'll be all right. I don't know about y'all.
Well, we're all quarantined over here.
I'll let you guys do it. We could Skype, if you want to.
Oh, that'd be nice. We could do that, If you get stuck in the middle of the ocean, because of this coronavirus thing, Just Skype us. Let us know how you.
JJ is on a hot roll for the Juju today.
Oh, I'm just going on this Juju because I'm really pissed off with the whole thing. But let's talk.
We already pointed out that
We're going to
some
try
people
and
on
stay
Twitter
away from a political show.
Yeah, pointed out that we had some bad juju last week. Talking about the press and the corners. Well, we'll get into that.
And
later.
Drew Moore.
Yeah,
That's
oh,
right.
yeah, Drew Moore.
Oh yeah.
36 years old. He's not even going to start.
I said he was going to start. Not we should smoke him.
Flushed
That's
us down
trash.
the drain.
Well, who was the one with the Juju?
Yeah,
this
it might have
time?
been me. It might have been
Oh.
me again.
That was harsh, man.
Might
They
have been me
said
again.
in the stadium, I was walking out, they said, man of the match, Drew Moore. I said, unbelievable.
Old man Drew.
We were literally talking junk about this guy.
How was it, Alex?
It was fun. It was a
it
good
good?
time. It was always a good
What
time.
about 200, 300?
Probably 200 people there.
Mile
But there was
high.
other ones scattered around. But there was a bunch of Rapids fans there because obviously it was their home opener. So
Well, when I saw the picture, there was like hardly.
I had a bunch of like Rapids fans come over and say, hey, what's up? And ask us if we all lived there or if we traveled and why we traveled. Because
we
they were
support
kind of
Illinois,
questioned. But I said, hey, cheap flights. And I found out that apparently somebody in like one of the supporters groups moved out there, and now they that's another reason why a bunch of people go out there is because they all like reconnect at this person's house. So there's a bunch of reasons why people go out there.
Very nice.
Yep.
And
JJ.
let's thank our sponsors. Here. Accurate Mortgage Group for all your mortgage lending needs. Get with @AMG Lenders on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for any information that you need. And interest rates are low now, right?
Yeah, we're below 1 basis point, but that hasn't really translated, I don't think, much yet. I haven't talked to Leo, but I try and keep up with Leo in the markets. But yeah, interest rates are at close to an all-time low, so it's always worth giving a shout.
And as always, Casey Sports Bar right here in the Heathrow Shopping Center in Lake Mary, Florida. Casey Sports Bar every Friday, Saturday night. They have live DJ with great drinks, pretzels, and karaoke on Wednesday night and Taco Tuesday on Tuesday.
And they have Paul.
And Paul.
Oh,
If
Paul
you want to
just
meet
left.
Paul, you can meet Paul. Yeah. And then we got Tuga Landscaping for all your landscaping needs. Get with Tuga Landscaping at 407-690-9992. And then
We got Field Turf, Field Turf USA, and Field Turfs International. A lot of those pitches in the Champions League have a mix of that Field Turf stuff. So there might not be fans there, but Field Turf's there.
I was waiting for you to go with that punchline.
Oof, man.
Boom.
Tough.
All right, let's talk about the 2-1 loss to Colorado on Saturday night. It's the first ever loss to Colorado. We are 5-2. Is that right?
a
No,
lot of
that's
games.
literally the formation we played. Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Good Lord.
We are.
These guys counting preseason.
I gotta figure it out. If you're just gonna put us on the spot there.
He just said we are never lost. Then he goes, we are 3-5-2.
No, I'm trying
And
to
didn't
read.
catch on.
This is our 6th year. We've drawn them.
It was 3-1. I had it.
We never lost against them. I think we've
Yeah.
won 3 or 4 times, and we've drawn once or twice, and then we lost this one.
And then you had Schlegel and Smith, Kyle Smith starting.
Oscar Pareja has the distinction of being the only Orlando City coach to lose to the Rapids.
We are literally already managing minutes for game 2. It seems like we're back again. 2019, 2018, 2017. Game 2, we're like, Kyle Smith, you're going in, parking the bus, high altitude.
You came back down to earth, literally. From
Oh,
a mile
man.
high, back down to earth.
No, I mean, we played good, but
Yeah.
it was just, it was what I expected, but I was kind of disappointed. With the Kyle Smith thing, I was mostly disappointed.
He played well, man.
Yeah, well, leave Kyle alone,
played.
man.
He played well, God.
He played all right,
He
but
never
and
gonna get off Kyle
same thing with
Smith's neck.
Schlegel. I mean, I was just disappointed with the back 5 routine.
Gotcha.
I didn't like it.
So, Cleon, tell us about your thoughts of the game.
Well, when we saw the lineup, it caught a lot of people off guard. Andres Pereira was in there, Schlegel was in there, Kyle Smith, no Juan, no Mueller. We expected no Nani, no Dom, blah blah. You know how that goes. But I expected it to be super, super defensive with that line. Like I thought it was going to be like super park the bus.
Yeah. It really wasn't
like
that
the whole
park to
fleet
bus.
of buses.
We were actually getting shots off.
Yeah, but that they were aggressive. They were aggressive. It surprised me. It's just you can be aggressive if you want, but at the end of the day, you need a little. You need some talent up there in that final third, and that's where we lacked. Was that last bit of let's get that thing in there.
Yeah, we made some. Oh my goodness, Tom Hanks has coronavirus.
Breaking news.
Forrest Gump, man, even he's not invincible.
He's always in history.
Just another part of bookmarking his life.
Yep.
No, but yeah, I mean,
Bet you Bubba ain't got it. Bet you that.
I agree with. No, I agree with you, Cleon. It was definitely more attacking than I thought it would be, but it doesn't matter what the defenders do, the midfielders do. They can do as much as they can, but if we don't have anybody to finish the opportunities, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah. Regarding the formation, it looked like let's park and counter kind of stuff, right? And we did give up possession, 55-45 to Colorado, but it didn't feel like it a lot of times, and that's the whole protagonist thing I think is talking about. You could cede people possession. It's where they have possession and what they're doing with it, right? And even though we had that kind of setup with those players, Barajas still kind of took it to him. He said, when we're on the road, we're still going to try to take it to the team and try to get some points. So I guess he forewarned it. He said he was going to do that, and he did. And we had a lot more shots this match. We had 13 shots. What did we have last week? 9?
Yeah.
Right? So now we're getting averaging of last year's about 11, and 5 were on frame, 2 blocked. So we still got to get better. We still got to finish, so it's a little bit of deja vu when it comes to that again.
Yeah.
But I respected the fact that even though if you're like the backups or whatever, he still expects you to be kind of go forward and create and not just lay back. Where we would do these sort of pragmatic park the bus type lineups with James O'Connor last year, but we wouldn't attack. It would just be like we had 4 shots and we poached 1. And then we allowed him to shoot 18 times, and then we hope we hang on. So It was cool seeing a parked sort of lineup, but still trying to create chances.
I saw the game. I saw the game. We were watching it together, basically.
You're such a sweetheart.
I know. Tesho needs to speed up.
Yeah.
There was crosses in the box by João Montinho. To me, played phenomenal. I think he did great at that position.
Who, João?
Yes. João, to me,
We'll
played.
get on that later.
You could get on it all you want.
Go ahead.
I mean, you had Schlegel back there. You had Antonio Carlos. You got all those guys back there. He was playing the left wing. He came back. He played defense also, and he would move up. He had some crosses in there. He actually had a shot on goal that was probably about 2 feet from making it in. To me, João Montinho did play good, and we need somebody in that center when those crosses come in to be there to knock.
Yeah, for sure.
Benji wasn't there, and Tesho wasn't there.
Well, if we're going to be sending high crosses into the box, like the one where Kyle Smith got his rocket of a shot off right at the goalkeeper.
Man, bro, that was a tough angle.
But Tesho, right before that, I mean, if Tesho can't score that, then, I mean, he's literally useless.
The problem,
that's what he's there for, is like, that was a beautiful cross, and then somehow he found his way running into the bear and totally getting off balance. I mean, that should have been a goal. I mean, and that was a training ground goal right there. That should have been rudimentary. Just put it right there in one of the corners, but he missed it. He literally got off balance and missed it, and then it left it to Kyle Smith, who had a good rip at it. At least he put it on frame.
Yeah, that was a tough angle. I don't know what he could have done.
He hit it. He tried to hit it through the goalkeeper. He hit it about as hard as he could hit it.
Yeah, he caught that flush. But Urso was standing there. This was a bit like reminiscent of the preseason goal that Urso had. João Montinho, a nice floater. You ever talked about, you ever heard like quarterbacks, they say someone has a more catchable ball when they pass it. Montinho's crosses and seem to be like more catchable, right? Like they're not just blistered in all the time. There's different types of passes and different crosses for the situation. That was one where Tesho and Urso could have communicated, perhaps, right? Yeah. Because Tesho ran into Urso. Urso was a bit flat-footed. I don't know if he would have got enough mustard on it to get on frame. And then Urso Tesho should have said, I got it or something. And Tesho had the momentum of that slow ball just to come in and crush it and wherever he wanted to. And that was one of our best chances that went wasted.
Yep.
All right. Studs and duds for this game. Cleon. No, don't point over there.
Me first?
That's right there.
I have to go
I mean,
first?
who do you
No,
want? You
that's
want?
fine. You already called me.
I called you.
Cleon,
Your
you're up.
studs and
I was
duds.
about to say, I'm on the spot.
Studs. I have to give it to the kid, Pereira, Andres. You know what? I already said it. I'm going with only first names because I can't do all these R's and I can't do all that.
Yeah, I really didn't understand.
Andres, for sure, stud. Thought the back line was fine. They were solid. Mendez, he was solid. Not as good as the last game, but he wasn't bad. Urso, I kind of need him to step up a little bit. He's just out there. He's been solid. He hasn't been bad either. Duds, I gotta go. It's all the attackers, man. It's all the attackers. I'll leave Mueller off because he had his goal.
Yeah, he looked good.
So I'll leave Mueller. I'll leave him out of that. But Tesho, Benji, they got to get more involved, man. Like Benji, he probably had 10, 11 touches all game, something like that. A lot of that is with a guy like Benji and even Urso. Those are guys that like to make those late runs into the box, but the problem is you need somebody out there, getting ahead like Juan. Even when he got in, we brought him. He didn't start. We got Juan in there late, but even when he got in, he didn't really get out in front of anybody like he normally does. He normally gets out in front of anybody. You get it to him, he's gone. Then he hits that cutback pass, to the middle. That wasn't there. I think might have got there one time. Might not even been Juan that did it. But we need more of those types of runs and cuts into the box and dishing it back.
Yeah, I would say my stud is definitely Andres as well. I mean, he looks like he could dominate. How old is he? 19, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he looks like he's ready to just say, I'm only going to be here for 18 months. I'm going to grab this league and just take it, just own it. Mm-hmm. So that definitely excited me. As far as duds are concerned, I also like the way, I know Antonio Carlos got dunked on at the end, but I also like the way he played for 91 minutes. I think he played really, really good. He was giving me that vibe too through the first 180 minutes of the season until that last dunk on that he was also going to be owning this league, so I was excited about that. But I would say, Tesho is another negative. I think overall the game plan was to get to 60 minutes, 0-0, and then put in Pereira, hope that he could do something, and then hold that to maybe 70, 75 minutes and put in Juan. And the problem is Pereira was ready to come in on the 62nd minute, and that's when they scored. So I think we were literally one stop too late on that Pereira substitution. Then you see Oscar pull him back and then make the double sub to try and make more of an impact. They come on together. But I think Oscar Pereira would want that back. I think that if in hindsight, obviously say hindsight 2020, I think he would have put Mauricio on just 5 minutes sooner, and we may have gotten a point or even 3 if that would have happened. But we gave up the goal. Then you have to shuffle all sorts of things. Guy thinks that he's about to come off. Turns out he has to play 10 more minutes and 5,000 feet altitude. You could tell the altitude was really getting to him too. Even in the first half, at the end of the first half, you could see they were just gasping from Joao to Tesho. Everybody was having a tough time with the altitude, and I think that's why we gave up a late goal. And it would have been nice to be up 1-0 and then give up that late goal. That still would have stung, but it would have at least gotten us a point. And I think that's what Oscar was looking for, but instead we gave up that goal when Mauricio was trying to come in, and then it leads to 2-1.
Yeah, well, one of the things that Oscar is known for is getting a lot of points, finding ways to get 1 point, 3 points, right? I think definitely the idea was to kind of send some speed and a little bit more flair, to tired legs. But we got really tired. Tesho was bending over, sucking wind in the 30-something minute. JJ, we were talking about that, right? He looked tired, and his touch is off. And speaking of those late runs, like someone needs to hold it up or keep the ball. We try to move it forward, and everybody just it's like they got steel-toed boots on. Just like
it was windy too, and like I don't know, but I've been out to Denver like 5 or 6 times. I've never been affected by the altitude, and this trip I was like really affected by the altitude.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I can't imagine how they were feeling too.
Yeah, that definitely played a part in there. And so to answer the question, studs, Andrus, of course. Andrus he should have closed out on that goal. The first goal by whatever's face's name. Their DP.
New DP.
Yeah, Namil or something. I'm sorry. I should know his name.
Namil,
yeah. And, Namil, I got it right. His goal, Pereira got kind of spun. He should have closed it down, and maybe Carlos and Janssen, they looked a little bit flat-footed on that one. But that assist, and just to Pereira, the thing he did well, his passing numbers weren't like great completion-wise, but 7 out of 10 of his passes were like he had 70% on passes like that were like penetrating going forward, right? So that's positive. And he was at times more the higher up of the midfielders between Urso and him, and Mendes was definitely the one sitting deepest. So that led to Pereira kind of, if you follow him on that Mueller goal, you see him back, get into space, make himself available like a good midfielder, move up, find some space, right? And then find Mueller with that beautiful pass, perfectly weighted pass. So, I mean, if it's me, I'm signing that. I'm taking that buy option. That was enough. That was sweet. And he looks like an athlete, man. He's a big dude, looks like an athlete. Stud Chris Mueller, I mean, came in. That was a great run. And that finish is underrated, man.
Can we talk about the finish? I mean, just shoot, like that's what we were talking about. Just shoot the ball. He megged the guy. Barely gets past the keeper.
Yeah.
Puts it into the corner.
I mean, the
great. Expected goal ratio on that had to have been slim to none.
He made it perfectly timed, and his runs have been timed great this year because he hasn't been outside. He's been timing his runs great. He timed that run and did a diagonal run behind like 3 or 4 dudes, and then perfectly one-timed it. I mean, the weight on that pass helped, and the type of roll that I had. And he did basically the one type of shot that you can take to make it. Because if he would have hit it hard, how are we going to do? Chip him from there? That just doesn't make sense. So hats off to Mueller for that. And that's what makes me think maybe he's a super sub because when he comes in, he kills it.
Yeah, a lot of people asking about why doesn't he start. Well, you saw why he doesn't start because that's what he just proves to do.
But he
comes in and makes impacts off the bench. So why? If you have somebody, that's hard to find. It's like we talk about in the NBA, you got a guy that's really, really an all-star, and he just comes off the bench because that's what he does. It's difficult to find, and that's something, especially when you're limited 3 subs. It's hard to find somebody that can attack and can consistently do it off the bench.
Well,
so
the question is,
why not keep it like that?
But the question is, are we chasing goals or are we trying to take a lead? If he could do that sooner, we have the lead, know, and. So, but Mueller's been one of the best. Probably Mueller and Mendes have been the best 2 players this year. I think at least offensively or on that side of the pitch. I think.
I just think he does better when.
I think
I think Mueller may just do better when he knows he's going in and he's already got a leg up because this team's already been playing for an hour, 70 minutes. So he's going in with fresh legs. Mueller's ready to take advantage of it and. That goes into his head as opposed to when he's starting a game and he's going, oh man, here we go. I got to start with all 22 guys. We're about to get on and then go. So
maybe it's that. Maybe he's like some pitchers are good just being closers. They could just empty the tank in those, that one inning. Maybe Mueller can just empty the tank in that 20, 30 minutes.
It's the main reason we're a winger away. So if we can get a solid winger to eliminate the question of why isn't Chris Mueller starting, just totally eliminate that question to where we have somebody that is guaranteed to start in the top and up there. Then you could just have Mueller on the bench, develop into that super sub, and he can get comfortable into that role and do it every game. And whether we're up, whether we're down, whether we're tied, you could bring him in.
Yeah, you got it.
Before my
my Juju knows no bounds.
I was going to say we got breaking news. Juju for
happened?
Cleon, number 2. Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz.
Gobert.
Gobert.
Does that say NBA suspends the season?
So the NBA just suspended the season.
The season?
The season, yeah.
Wow, this is getting serious, guys.
Yes, and Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson also have coronavirus. Just breaking. So, So NBA just suspended the season. Go ahead.
Suspended the season.
He skipped the whole part about Juju.
Yeah, I don't want to bring it up because you might Juju something else.
Yeah. Cleon was saying he was immune to it, and we'll leave it like that.
Ooh, yeah. I'm just putting the dots all together. I'm a little slow.
Yeah. Well,
is he Bermudian?
No, he's from Guadalupe, from France.
Bro, did I just Juju a whole race of people?
Hey, at
Good
least,
Lord.
I should connect to
at least,
Wi-Fi.
At least Alex didn't, right?
Wow. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry, Eddie. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so the I thought Janssen and Carlos were fine. That goal, Carlos and Juan, they obviously was a communication problem. Carlos looked at Juan like, what the? Carlos seemed like he was just trying to leverage and do more, jumped over him. I think there's a reason he didn't jump. I don't know. There seems to be more to it than it seems like a lack of communication or understanding who's marking. And let's face it, how many times has Juan been on a corner on a set piece and it doesn't defend or doesn't do anything?
We got all sorts of stuff happening. We got Sean Johnson.
Sean Johnson just
biting.
snuffed
He's biting. He bit his finger. Look.
He bit him?
Look.
He snuffed some dude. Look at that. Oh, because he put his finger in his nose.
We got fingers in noses and biting.
That's on dude.
What is
You
going
stick your finger
on
in somebody's
world?
mouth.
We got
That's on you.
coronavirus and we got guys sticking fingers in mouths.
Jeez, man.
What
He
is-
thought Sean Johnson was immune too, but he isn't.
Oh
He listened to Cleon.
I don't even know what's happening.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So look, I'm saying, look, I don't know. To me, it was Carlos and Juan. How many times have we seen a defender look at Juan on a corner that was scored, and they look at him like, what the? Juan doesn't jump. He doesn't block people out. I think he's the problem, in my opinion.
Cleon is
the only
sweating
one?
over here.
Yeah, he's sweating.
He's fully nervous.
Cleon had a pep in his step. I'm good. Yeah. He's
I don't know. As safe as it could be.
yeah.
No worries.
Nobody. No, yeah.
Hakuna Matata.
Okay, am I the only one who's ever seen that Juan on set pieces just seems to suck at them? He
Oh,
doesn't
no,
defend
no,
or
no,
block.
everybody knows that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Carlos was looking at Juan, and Carlos has been so good in the air that I don't know if it was
Well, it
fully
looked
on
like
him.
Juan was just looking.
Yeah, Juan was looking at him and all that.
Carlos, you got
Well,
him.
that's because Juan's just looking for the counter. So
And to run. straight down.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's just kind of studs and duds for the most part. Tesho and Benji. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they use Benji right, but I think Benji should be a sub
they
at this point.
100% do not use.
Yeah,
Benji correctly.
and Tesho. I mean, Tesho's. I don't know if it's the baby curse. He's only got one baby. He usually used to two baby curse, and he's just been bad this year to me. I don't know, man. I don't get it.
Well, go ahead.
I liked Moutinho more than I'm on JJ side. Moutinho, one of those. Somebody does their job on the other side. He's got an assist or two, and everyone's talking about how good he was.
I'm with you, Eddie. I'd like to see, at least while we haven't signed anybody, or while Dwyer's not in form or
Well,
starting.
you can't sign anybody now with 30-day restrictions coming from
Yeah,
Europe.
that's
so
true.
No Europeans.
So, but anyways, I would like to see Benji on the bench, and then Mueller starting that wing position, and then Benji come in for Tesho. If Dwyer's
top,
still hurt up top as a sole striker, because once again, I mean, there's no reason why. You see what happens when even a guy like with Mueller can get in there and slot in behind center backs.
Yeah.
It's just Tesho just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. So we got a guy like Benji, but you're not letting him play that same position. As soon as Mueller come on, you saw that Oscar just was like, do what you got to do, play central. Mueller was like everywhere, central at first, and then he played down toward the left, and that brought him in. And but just in general, I mean, for me, Benji should be playing just right up top, central, sneaking in behind, collecting those passes because. Like Cleon mentions, the guy is a finisher. Mueller. If we think Mueller finishes, Benji finishes too. So put him in those positions and he can finish. But right now you're sticking him out on the touchline. It's not doing no
I
good.
think you kind of simplify the game a bit. Benji can finish, can get behind people, and you put him in that position. That'll help. And Mueller's knock is decision making, right? Sometimes when he comes in as a sub, it's just, dude, we need to win.
Yeah.
Get some points. And he seems to be almost more focused.
All right. My studs and duds. Oh, go ahead, Cleon.
I was well, to be fair, I would say Benji was more in that position, though we've been asking for this particular game.
Yeah.
It's just that this game we had all defensive mids in the midfield.
Yeah.
So we didn't have Juan out there. You didn't have Mauricio, except for like the last 10 minutes or whatever it was that he was there. So he was finally in the right position, but
He didn't get
with the wrong
service.
teammates.
Yeah, he didn't get service.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he had like 10 touches.
All right. My studs and duds. We're going to go with the duds. You guys know who it is. Tesho. To me, I don't think he should have been in the game. He should have been the one subbed out. Let Benji go into the middle and let Mueller do what he was doing.
I thought they did some. They didn't?
I told y'all about Tesho. That man looked like he served a 3 to 5 year jail
I think they did
sentence in the
somehow.
offseason.
Who, Tesho? No, Benji came out. Mauricio came in for
I know Benji
João,
came out eventually.
and then Juan came in for Benji, and Mueller came in.
Yeah, the ones who got subbed out was
At
Moutinho,
what point,
Michelle, and Kyle.
Kyle Smith, yeah. Benji came in on the came out at the 79th minute to Chris Mueller. So he should have brought Tesho out, and then even in the 60th something minute, we were seeing Tesho with his hands, and he's tired. He was gassed.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with Tesho.
Schlegel was gas.
Yeah.
Oh, Schlegel was gassed too.
I mean, the
Hey, he's
altitude
cramped.
is-
Done.
You can't, man. He can't be drinking that mate super caffeinated energy drink that those Argentines love to drink and that high altitude, man.
The altitude was bad, but
You need to get
to
some
be
water.
fair, Colorado, this was their first game in altitude. You know, they preseason trained in Southern California, went out to D.C. and played their first match. So this was their first match too. I mean, they live out there, sure, but you know, they spent a lot of time in the last months not in altitude, and this was their first 90 minutes at altitude. So it was probably as even as we can get to be playing on even playing field in Colorado. I'd rather play them first game of the season than last game of the season where they're already immune to it.
Their advantage they had too is their roster was probably they had more continuity. You know, played together a little
Yeah.
more. This was a whole.
They
a whole big
also, you
change.
know what they also have that we don't?
Drew Moore.
A DP striker,
Yeah,
DP forward.
DP who scored again, and these DPs are all these guys people are buying are working out just fine this year.
I mean, it's not just this year; it happens every year. Pozuelo last year, what does he do his first game? Like 2 goals, 2
Well, I
assists.
mean, not all of them working out. Like
Crushes.
ask Atlanta, you know.
Yeah,
but-
Atlanta. I mean, everybody. It's at first it's like, oh, they did good scouting. Oh, they did good this, and then after every time they bring in a high marketing, high level player, aside from Chicharito, but everybody else, you know, has made extreme huge impacts at least in the first couple games. So it always typically pays off. So I think that's why you're starting to see Orlando City want to spend more money because they see that it's pretty common that you don't even have to really scout that well. It's good. It's even better if you scout well. That's how you make championship teams. But if you can spend money, that's the number one thing because you're going to most likely bring in a player that's going to give you results.
All right. So going back to my studs and duds, Tesho.
I love JJ's transitions. Okay, not even an acknowledgement. No, you know, at least segue into it.
I agree.
Okay,
he goes, "I
so
agree."
going back to my studs and duds, you got the same ones: Tesho, duds.
Duds. And then my stud, I'm going to give it to 2 guys. I'll give it to João Montinho, and I'll give it to Andres Pereira.
Martino picked up a yellow card.
I don't care if
Probably
he
should have
picked it.
picked up a red. At some point.
Nobody gave this guy the
Jow's
benefit of the doubt to
Jow's a
play
thumb.
on the left side the way he does. Everybody says he's a left back. He's a
He had
left
his-
back.
he had
He's
his-
not a left
I'm sorry,
wing.
he had his worst game this game. I gotta
No,
say.
he had crosses
did.
in there. He played great.
Well, he
to
always
me.
has the crosses, but he was
To me,
off.
No,
He was
think
off
he
all
good.
day.
JJ,
To
is
me.
this just that you were right that you said he could play in the midfield when we first got him?
Was I right?
You were right. Is
I
this
was-
or is this part just
he
because you were
wasn't
right?
playing in
this
the midfield.
No.
He played left wing back.
No,
I know, but that's a
But he
title.
was-
Where was he at the whole time?
he
You know?
was on the left side.
We look. This is the
Schlegel was-
FIFA-fying of the world. We all care about formations and where they're at more than
He was
the coaches
trailing
do.
back. I mean, he was the
He
guy
came
there.
back. He came left back. He played up. He played everywhere.
I can
think
see it.
I think the guy played good.
I'm not typically one to say yellow cards are bad, but he picked up a bad one early, so that's why I wouldn't say he had,
early.
no.
I agree.
The card,
But
I don't
I
even
don't
care
like.
about the card.
I
It was
don't mind
just-
cards. I mind early cards. I don't
What-
like when you pick up a card in the 15th
What
or
did you
20th
not
minute,
like
and
about
now we
his
got it.
play?
Especially when
He
you're a
was
defender.
off. He was. It was almost like his head wasn't in the game. To me, he was off. He was off the whole game. Normally, he's extremely technically sound. Extremely. Like I'm not a Jow hater. That dude is extremely technically sound.
His
and he
passing
was
was a little
he
off
was
this
he
game.
was
I mean,
off. It wasn't just
little
his
passes.
passing. Even his touch, everything was off.
I think
his
the altitude
timing,
was getting
his
to him
timing
again.
was off. His timing was off. His with the ball at his feet, he was off. He was a little slow with like decisions, which he never is. Like he's extremely smart and he's extremely technical. Yeah. Like the only problems you'll ever hear me talk about with y'all is getting back on D.
No,
but
I
that wasn't
agree.
even an issue.
I mean,
this
he
game.
played
but this
he
game in
played out of-
particular,
yeah.
he played a
seemed off to me.
6 out of 10. You know, if he
Oh,
usually plays
and
a
the other
7,
question: You
but-
were there in Colorado. Why were they booing at him?
No, they Julia found out they just section 4 or whatever section it is. They boo the back that's on that
Whoever's
side.
on that
Gotcha.
side, they just boo them all game.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know.
How
You
lame
know
was
what's
that?
funny? You guys want to hear a funny little anecdotal story?
Yeah.
This is my 3rd time at that stadium. I've never heard them boo anybody in the past. So that just shows that nobody ever freaking shows up to their place, and except for the home opener, and that's the only time that they actually boo anybody, probably, because Section 4 is usually 4 people.
I got you. So that's one of those things where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to verify that in the next game, but then I have to watch the Rapids. So
you can't.
I'll
I mean,
just
it
take
doesn't
someone's word
matter
for it.
because there'll only be 2,000 people at the next game. I mean, literally, there'll be probably 4 people in Section 4. You know.
All right, let's change the subject here. Well, the slow start of this season so far and losing, will that affect anything on Orlando City, Alex?
No.
You think we'll bounce back? And
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. I don't think there's much to worry about. The draw in the opening match is not the best, but it's at Colorado. I'm not expecting to get anything out there. Yeah, we never have lost to them, but that's even more. If you use Cleon's math, that's even more reason we're going to lose to them. It's because we never lost to them. So,
they're digging us on NYC.
there's no VAR. So, but that's if you use, like I say, if you use Cleon's math, they were due to beat us. So for me, it's not the end of the world. We don't know what's going to happen, to be honest with you. NBA just suspended their season. That's obviously a much bigger league than them.
I wouldn't if the season. I'm fine. I want to get this game over with, but if they suspend it for a little bit, and it gave us a little bit more time to get a lot of the attacking piece in here, without losing so many more games.
the whole
we're going to bring it from South
suspending
America. Let's be honest, right? We're
the
probably not getting
suspending
it
it
from
is crazy, but it makes sense. And I know we're getting a little off, but only because the logistical nightmare of playing behind closed doors and then having to refund people or get people
I would rather
to
them
be
suspend
okay.
it than do that closed door.
That's
crap.
why they're going to postpone it, because just imagine refunding the hundreds of thousands of season ticket holders
Flavio
everywhere.
ain't doing that. He ain't with that.
If you're going to play behind closed doors, because eventually there's going to be somebody that's not going to take the offer that you give towards next season ticket.
You're gonna have to give my money
Then
back.
they're going to class action lawsuit, and then it's going to go everywhere. So it could get ugly. So that's why they're going to probably suspend leagues as opposed to playing behind closed doors. I think you saw it in Champions League because a lot of those tickets aren't included in the season ticket member package anyways. So that's something to think about. But
Guys, Woody has the coronavirus. Just think about that.
Woody who?
Tom Hanks.
Oh man, I thought you were talking about Woody Harrelson. I said, "Oh goodness, I need to peek an eye." That was like when Cleon found out Rudy Gobert.
I don't think there's
Woody Harrelson.
I don't think there's any room.
Then what I'm doing is definitely not going to.
I don't think there's any room in that alcohol blood stream that Woody Harrelson has for a coronavirus. Just fall right out of him.
Bro, like if Charlie Sheen got it, do you think he would even know?
For real.
He's got everything, bro.
He's got everything.
He's got like everything. What do you even know?
Charlie Sheen was probably patient at 0 for coronavirus in 2000.
It probably started from him.
All right, slow season. The start of the season with the loss. Eddie, does it matter? Does it change anything? What do you think?
You have to be a little bit worried in the back of your head because we've seen this before, right? This whole repetition or deja vu kind of thing, right? I do trust Oscar Pareja more than I trust James O'Connor and all the other coaches, Jason Christ and those guys. So I'm willing to give them a leeway. I'm still not on the coaches need 3 years junk. Look at the impact Henri's already had on the impact.
Yeah.
Right? Good coach can make an impact quickly. But I do see the way we're playing, and I think we're playing pretty well. We just need some pieces. But, you have to build. People forget how the level of talent we had was terrible. Was pretty low.
Yeah.
We're building. There's some good pieces there.
And we're paying $1.5 million for 7 goals.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. Yeah, we have some money that's most of the bad contracts are out except for Dom Dwyer's. So we're going to have some flexibility. We've been using discovery lists and all that stuff. Well, we're building a B team. We're building the academy. There's pieces there, and I think the way the team played, disciplined, they played hard. You see the young guys. Schlegel had the Argentine cramps where he died over and over. That was hilarious. I know cramps suck, and you've ever woken up in the middle of the night?
Dramatic.
But dang, dude was selling it, man.
That guy looked like his calf was being pulled into his neck.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, for real. Yeah, I know. It was, jeez. But
Bro,
he,
if I got
he had,
shot, I'm not sure I would have a reaction like that.
yeah,
No, I don't think so.
Because
I think,
he got up and then he went right back down really bad.
I was like,
So-
we saw you, buddy. So I think he otherwise played fine in the back three. He had some good moments. He could make a tackle. Urso, one of the knocks about Urso was that at times he disappears. I kind of see that at times. There's a 10 or 15 minute stretch. You're like, where's this dude? But then he pops up in weird spots, so I do want to see him take a little next level. I want him to be an impact player, and he's been close a couple times to make a big impact with goals and mostly being in the box. But look at Andres, look at Mauricio, look at Moutinho, look at Oslego, Carlos, Jansen, all these guys we've recently bought. We're building here, and I think Oscar can make these like coals into diamonds, and so because of his pedigree and because I feel like the scouting's been good, I feel like there's hope. I feel like we'll have a little bit of a run at some point, and I do think it starts this week.
I don't even.
It better start.
I got heat for saying, "Oh, we're going to finish second to last again in the East," but
Yeah.
I don't even care if we do. I mean, I'll still trust Oscar. I'll still say, I mean, unless. And there's no feasible way because A plus B does not equal C in this situation. But unless Dom Dwyer has a stellar year and somehow Oscar coaches us out of contention, somehow you combine those two things, then that's the only way you can hate on him. But what's going to happen is Dom Dwyer's going to have a mediocre year. We're probably not going to make the playoffs if we continue this way.
Yeah.
And you can't hate on it because every other team has the flexibility of the DP. They didn't. Every other team didn't have Nicky Budelich ruin their roster. And I'm not. I mean, I know we've crushed on Dom, but unless you score 15 to 20 goals, first of all, to have a DP striker that makes just above the maximum salary for a DP is not my favorite. If you're going to have a DP, don't have him be $50,000 over the maximum limit for that you can buy down. Don't do that.
3, 5,
pay
6,
him.
7 million.
Make those spots. Those guys that you're paying $3, $4, $5, $10 million. Those are precious spots. So that was error number one, because you couldn't buy him down. And now he's stuck as a DP. But for me, what's going to happen is if we don't get it together, if we don't, and we're hearing that we're going to sign an attacker maybe soon. So if we don't necessarily bring on a new attacker that can create goals, then we're probably are going to see a lot of the same stuff. But that doesn't mean he can give up on Oscar, because he's just, I hate to say he's using somebody else's roster, but he is. And are we too far down the rabbit hole with Dom? Most likely. So, you can't really put it all on him. I would hope that Dom's ready to switch it up, and maybe it's a breath of fresh air and Dom's going to come out and have 15 goals. And if he does, we'll make the playoffs.
If Dom, we still need a winger, whether Dom gets good or not.
Yeah.
My thing with the slow start, we had our chances against Real Salt Lake.
Yeah.
We had more possession. We actually dominated that game, I think. Unfortunately, we didn't score. The game against Colorado, I think we had our chances of scoring, and we should have ended up with the tie. That was the goal by Moore, was just like how it happened last year in Chicago, happened to DC. It was a fluke. Okay, they won, but we should have came out of there with at least another point. I don't think that, losing in Colorado against a Western Conference team, we should start putting our heads down and saying, oh, we're going to be finishing what Alex said, second to last. But that was just frustration from the loss. I don't think he thinks that, after that loss.
I don't care if we do or not, to be honest.
But I just, to me, it's like, hey, I agree with him. Trust Oscar, what he did in Dallas, what he's done, Musi, what you see what Dallas is, what they're of, and that's because of Oscar and because of Musi. Yeah. Well, guess what? We have those guys here in Orlando. And now you got Nani back. You might have Dom Dwyer back. Mm-hmm. So, hey, if we start winning now, that nobody's going to remember that loss in Colorado.
I mean, Nani is a MVP candidate for the league. I mean, he's not the favorite by any means. But when you go to the book at Las Vegas, I guarantee he's on the list of people to vote for, to put money on for MLS MVP. So,
and it's totally different with him on the field, where he's the knowledge that he has and everything, controlling these younger guys and telling them, hey, this is what you need to do, and this is, you didn't have that. Urso, I don't think as a captain would do that to Mueller or João Montinho or whoever. Nani will.
Yeah, you haven't seen really much yelling or directioning or pointing where to be or who to go where. You haven't seen much leadership in the first two games other than from the sideline, from Oscar. He's been very vocal from the sideline. So I think when Nani comes in, he'll not only take over that leadership role, but he'll also allow Oscar to focus on other things and maybe hone in on different things that Nani can take over. So I think obviously having Nani back is going to be big. It's just how big is it going to be? Is it going to be playoff big? Is it going to be, going to make us, because right now we were going to play defense. So if we can start scoring goals, it could make us pretty hard to beat. Is that the type of impact that Nani is going to bring to us? We don't know.
Leon.
Yeah, I feel it's weird because it's a little concerning, only because it's weird because it's concerning, but it's also understandable on why we only have 1 point in the first 2 games against teams that aren't elite teams.
Colorado's got 6 points. They may be good this year. You never know.
No, they should. They were good at the end of last year. They finished really well. Yeah. They are probably one of the best teams in the league to finish off the season.
Once Frazier took over,
Yeah, they were extremely good. The Colorado one doesn't bother me as much as the first, as much as RSL. Because Colorado, I mean, you're already short Nani. You're already short, whether you think Dom's good or not, he's supposed to be better than Tesho.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have him injured.
You're already losing those. You're already missing those 2 coming in, and then when you get all of a sudden you can't afford when teams are already shorthanded like that, and we don't have depth even at full strength. You can't afford when all of a sudden Mauricio picks up a knock. Oh, I can't play this dude, but 10 minutes this game.
Yeah,
and Juan, which I feel really hurt us. I even feel like Kyle Smith played well, but he's not. Juan's a big part of our attack
for sure.
Humongous part of our attack.
Yeah,
especially without Nani and without
he's the main part of the attack.
Exactly. Maybe even with those guys in, he's a massive part.
It was just be scoreless and just park the bus and hopefully you can bring him in and make a difference.
When you lose those 2 guys on top of that, then losing to Colorado, I mean, it's kind of expected.
I mean, we didn't start a single DP.
When you come in and you're forced with that roster,
you get 3 top spots. You don't start a single one. It's hard to win any games.
So
you're not supposed to win games.
The only problem now is you drop points in the first 2 games. In like I said, not against elite teams as it is. You have Chicago coming in, so that's another non-elite team coming in, and it's you kind of have to win the game.
It's important
at this point
because you got to go at LA, at New York after these 2.
Yeah, so it's you'll end up finding yourself like if you don't win this game, then you're looking at yourself. You're already in a hole. You know what I mean? And you're chasing teams from behind. Luckily, a lot of the teams, I don't even know if that's luckily, but a lot of the teams that people expect at the top, they've also dropped points right now too. So they're going to come up as well. So you really have to start out of the next 3 games. You kind of have to pick up about 2 wins out of that to keep pace.
I'll be happy with just the 3 points against Chicago. Otherwise than that, you're looking at a real. If we lose against Chicago, you're looking at a real possibility of 1 point out of the first 5.
Well, I'm saying if you win against Chicago, but then you turn around and lose the next game, then I mean you're already in a hole.
It's
already in a hole.
At the Galaxy. I don't think anybody expects to win that or even get any points.
They ain't been great
for that.
They
game.
haven't been
They
that good.
haven't been great.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I'm saying though is
that's a beatable team. That's a beatable team.
Yeah, but when you look at the preseason, when you're looking at the schedule, you're not saying, "Oh, we're going to go get anything in LA." Maybe at Red Bull we did last year, but not at Galaxy. So
I mean, Galaxy is one thing you talking about like LAFC, but Galaxy, that's not. To me, that's not out of the realm possibility. You take a point out of that.
Exactly. Then to talk about
not if you're going to be a good team anyway.
That's true. Talking about being worried or not, if you look at Oscar Bud had teams and the way he's set up, not just his teams, right, but like how this team has been set up so far. We haven't really beat ourselves. There has been some mental errors, right, that have led to it. But those are sometimes are coachable. Like Bud has 19. A guy's a DP, turned him around. It happens. Maybe Carlos Jansen didn't communicate right and didn't step up. The Juan in his set pieces and maybe Carlos. I don't know what happened on that one, right? And Drew Moore should have been out of the game anyways. The red card on Tesho, in my opinion. And in the first game, Justin Glass should have been out of that game with 2 yellows. And then you take those things, you turn those around. You take the chances you've actually had, right? And I don't. Oscar's teams they don't look like they're out of the game. So we're getting a surprise and win one of those games we're not supposed to. Because we so far, even with a young team, a team that hasn't played together, we're still like more compact, more organized, more well coached, and that's why I believe in it.
I agree.
Sometimes with James O'Connor, sometimes we were tough to beat, but we were taking 15, 18 shots and stuff like that, and we were blocking a ton. How many times did Sani stick out that flamingo leg out and block a shot, or Juan, or like there was a lot. Rowe saved a couple games, right? There was there hasn't been any spectacular moments where we were like, oh, we cleared the ball off the line, or someone made a ridiculous save.
I mean, look at that Real Salt Lake game. I mean, they only shot twice.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, they made that goal. That wasn't. I mean, I don't. He didn't.
I think he made one good save in the Colorado game, which he made a great save.
Yeah, that was.
And then it was the goal that Pereira just was flat-footed and whatever.
Yeah.
And he just went right by him.
Yeah. And I don't think he could have stopped that goal personally. No. That ball had bent to the post, and
both
and
were tough goals. The Moore header was a rocket. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't blame him for that. But so if you look at it in context, right? Last year we had a lot of games where we lost it late. But when we lost it late last time, it was because we had taken 12 shots in the second half, and then one hit the post. One got cleared, and then number 12 went in at the end, right? This is not what's happening in these games. We're more in control, so I have more trust in Oscar. Does that make sense? I'm trying to marry this idea in my head where I believe in Oscar and try to be objective. I don't want to give my guy an extra chance because I don't care who the coach is. I want them all to succeed. I don't care if I agree with the hiring or not. And you guys know I was never enthused about Kreiser or O'Connor, but I was about Oscar. I want to win. Who cares? Who's at the helm?
Just about.
But my observations did they make sense? Is that you guys see the same thing?
I see the same thing that you're saying. I agree.
For the first time, I actually think that we can be hard to beat.
Yeah,
which is the first step to becoming a good soccer team. And first, if you don't lose games, that's the first step. Sure, you can draw every game. Nobody wants to end with 34 points.
Correct.
But it'd be better than losing every game. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the first step, is to be nearly unbeatable, or to be hard, very, very hard to beat. So I think with what we're building in the spine and the back and with the goalkeeper, that's the first step to being really, really hard to beat.
Yeah, and this isn't I have no interest in taking shots at anybody else like coaches. James was put in an impossible situation. It's not about him. It's just a progression of the team and just a difference.
You look at Colorado.
We were more difficult to beat last year than the year before, so credit to him on that.
Colorado went into D.C. last week. The week before, and took 3 points.
Yeah,
and then
on the road, cross country.
I think if you ask them who played harder or who played them harder, I think all their guys would say Orlando. I think they looked, for most of the game, they looked frustrated. For the whole first half, you could tell they looked frustrated.
Yeah, for sure.
They were out of sync. We really, really were annoying them.
Kamara didn't score on us for the first time.
They were just really, we were just nuisance to them. So I think that goes along with being tough to beat, and if we could score goals, then maybe that would have been a draw.
And look at the game plan wise. Okay, so the game plan was we're going to bracket Kamara, right? We're going to make him go a different direction, right? And then you see the imprint and the protagonist kind of thing where you can have the ball here, but we're going to move you here, and we're going to pressure you here, right? Stuff like that. And you could actually see that happening. We had a game plan to shut down Kai Kamara to finally keep him from scoring, and we executed that.
Yep.
That says something. Now, did they do what they normally do, what I talked about last week, the Drew Moore score? Yeah, I mean, is it a set piece? Yeah. But sometimes in this league, this is MLS. Sometimes if you do a couple things well, then you win. The Red Bulls, they finish well and they press well, right? Atlanta, they run at you and they attack. LAFC, create space and all this stuff, and they cut through the midfield quickly and attack. When you could do one or two things well, that's all it takes to win a lot in this league. And Rapids, they pressure well, especially at the end, and they're great on set pieces. So they caught us. It happens.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't give up a set-piece goal, I think, for like 20-something games last year. The first. So, I mean, we were horrible last year, and we were still good on set pieces. So that just, the Rapids are good at that. And it was a 92nd minute in altitude. Everybody's legs are dead, and, it's hard to give up. You try not to give up set pieces in the 92nd minute, especially when you're on the road.
We got dunked on by an old dude in the YMCA.
It happens.
So. All right, Nani's back for Chicago this weekend. Possibly Dwyer's back. Also, reports from Julia Poe says that he's been training.
But off to the
today.
side.
Off to the side, but who knows?
Kind of training.
We don't know, We didn't really know what was happening with Uri Rosell until, Oscar stated that he had a kind of midsection.
I'm throwing Dwyer in the game on Saturday, personally. Especially if we even get to play and we're looking like the league's going to get shut down or something, what's he got to lose?
So with those guys all coming back, the team basically almost at full strength, if not at full strength. What do we do? What do we see lineup-wise for this game against Chicago? I personally see Nani finally being everywhere, like how he was in the preseason. I'm with Alex. Dwyer, put him in. Tesho ain't doing anything. What could be worse, And put Benji in there also. And then in the defense, I would put. Now that's where I get stuck. Should we do the Juan, Antonio Carlos, Janssen, and Montinho? Or do we do the Kamal Miller? Or vice versa with Kyle Smith? Or do we go with both right back and left back, Montinho and Juan? And then put Seba in there and Urso and Mauricio probably. Yeah. I mean that and put Seba a little bit more back, I guess.
Yeah.
And that would be my lineup.
And then who's up top?
It would be Benji and Dom and Nani at free will.
Benji, Dom, and Nani at free will.
Yeah.
I don't think Dom's gonna be ready.
So I mean, I think he plays 30 minutes at the end, but I would go. That's a lot. Kamal. I think Kamal gets a start over.
I don't think he does.
Schlegel. So I would go Kamal. I would do the same thing. The three
over Schlegel.
The three or the 5-3-2, whatever we just played in Colorado.
5-3-2 on defense, 3-5-2 on offense.
Yeah, and stick Nani at striker with Benji is what I would do, and then I would like to see if Mauricio really has a little knock. I don't mind him starting on the bench again, and I would like to see Andres get another shot at it. That same three midfield, I'd like to see that happen again. That's only if Mauricio has any sort of a knock. If he's 100%, obviously.
I think it's too much defensive mid.
Obviously, well, I mean that's what I said. If it's only if Mauricio has a knock, but if he doesn't, then you start in a perfect world. You do that, and then you have Mauricio at the attacking mid position at 10, and then you have Nani running everywhere with Benji getting in behind, and I think that scores goals personally.
How about you, Cleo? What do you got?
I would go back to. I mean, with Nani. I feel like you can't really put him back at wings right now, because all that defensive work, you really need him in the attack right now. Mm-hmm. So he needs to be up top.
Yeah.
So I think he needs to go with pretty much the same thing as what he did here in Colorado, just upgrade the players in the system. So whether he goes 3-5 straight 3-5-2 like he was doing now, or he goes back to the 4-4-2 in defense and 3-5-2 in attack. Whatever, but I feel like Nani, he has to be up top right now. It's too much defensive work going on. Get him up there where he's dangerous.
I would just love to see Benji with Nani and Mauricio.
Up top, I don't think Dom's going to be ready. If he is, whatever, start him. Whatever. Yeah, I think he goes back to the 4-4-2. Mm-hmm. With Nani and a striker up top, whether it's Dom, Tesho, whatever he's doing up there. And I think he goes back with Mauricio, Benji, Urso, Mendez, in that midfield area with, Benji and Mauricio on the wings and defense, and then, moving around, Benji moving up top, Nani dropping down, false nine. With Benji replacing him up there. The only difference I feel he'll probably stick with Matinho at left back with he could go Schlegel. Yeah, I'll go with Matinho for now, but I would not be surprised to see Schlegel at that left holding. I don't know what you want to call that thing. Whenever he uses that formation, it's like a holding left back, holding I don't know what you want to call it, whatever that is.
It's like a trend.
It's that in between center back, in between left back position he's got out there out wide. Carlos Janssen, of course, and Juan. And I think it goes back to more of what you saw in the preseason now that Nani's back.
Yeah, I agree with Cleon. I don't think Dom plays 30. I don't think he starts. He's just training on the side, and you don't want to rush him. If ultimately the way Tesho has played in his first 2 games, and for various reasons, he hasn't put enough of a trademark to kind of own that spot, right? So, I mean, let him hash it out through training, and if Dom's better than him and Oscar thinks he should start, then so be it. But I don't want to rush him. Dom has a history of lower body injuries. I'd rather him be a week or 2 late, or a game or 2 late, than a game or 2 early at this point. And I know we're desperate for points, but I think we do need him to step up. We need goals, and I'd rather just have him wait. So I think it's Nani, and I would put Mueller up top with Nani. I think Mueller's been timing his runs right, and he's been creating chances a lot. Benji has the work rate to track back on the left side, and it'll be like the 4-4-2. Mueller and Nani up top, and Benji on the left, and then Sebas and Urso as a double pivot, and then Pereira in the preseason. On defense, he would essentially be the right mid defender. I think he does that again, but offensively, one of those fullbacks goes up, and it turns into 3 at the back. I think the back 4 stays like the opening day, Zhao, Jansen, Carlos, and Juan. And when one of those fullbacks goes up high, right, we go kind of back 3 most of the time, right? Or Sebas drops deep. And then Mauricio goes more central. And Mauricio and Nani can kind of, and Mueller, those are guys who could all float and pop up in different spots. And then you could get Benji to come in and run behind and get vertical, right? And Joe Moutinho balls over the top. Nani could cut in. Benji takes in that space. There's a lot of options there. I think that's the way we go. And if Dom, if he's not 100%, I don't even put him in 18. If he's pretty good, bring him into 18. Give him 5 minutes or something like that, 10 minutes. But I don't want to push it.
Yep.
Good idea. All right, let's talk about predictions for the Chicago game. The last time we played Chicago, we got a butt whipping, 5-2. We lost back on October 6th.
That back heel goal, remember that?
Yeah. And then the first time we played him last year was the Chris Mueller disaster.
The Shane O'Neill disaster, too.
Yeah, Shane O'Neill also, where we tied at 1-1. Remember, we also lost 4-0 2 years ago. So we really get our butts whipped with Chicago. So
it's either that or a bunch of red cards.
Yeah, Ramos.
Yeah, and Nocherino.
And Nocherino in the same game. So we have 2 wins, and 5 draws, and 5 losses to the Fire during our tenure in the MLS. What is your prediction? What do we look like? What's going to happen? Alex, it's going to you. Throw it to you first.
Chicago. What's Chicago? What did Chicago do last week? Did they win?
No, they lost.
I don't think so.
Last week, they
I don't think they won a game.
they
I think they might
tied
have
the
draw.
Revolution 1-1.
Oh, okay, that's right, yeah.
I'm gonna
Goal by Jonathan
I'm gonna
Borstein.
say 2-1 again, Chicago.
Whoa.
Ooh.
I just don't see where we're scoring goals. I just don't see it. Nani's back. No, I'll say 2-2 just to be. But I don't think we get 3 points. Unfortunately, I hope we get 3 points, but I just don't think that it's going to happen.
All right. Eddie.
Okay, I think I'm pretty sure Chicago, unless they canceled it out with the Olympics, Mihalovic is going to be out. He's been their best player this year.
Really?
He got 2 assists from what I saw. Chicago, what I saw from them was that they lose possession often, right? And they make some errors, individual errors. We press. We've been pressing well. It's working, and I think with Nani, and maybe with the lineup I go with Mueller in decent form, and maybe get Benji behind. I think we capitalize on those errors, and the press works, and we sneak out. We counter. We do the Oscar counter punch. Quick punch.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say 2-1. Orlando City wins, and I do think the press from us is gonna give them some trouble, and we get 3 points at home. The goals, Nani and Mueller.
I'll go, and then Cleon, you can go. With Nani coming back, I think this will be a fresh team, and I think there'll be guidance on the field with Nani there. My prediction is Nani's going to be everywhere. I don't know who's going to be up front. I don't know who, but I know Nani's going to be floating everywhere, and he's free to do whatever he wants. So I think goals will happen from him and probably from another player. Chicago. They beat us. So I'm going to go with the 2-2 tie. Goals by Nani and
That's what I'm with too.
And I'll say
Mauricio.
no. I'll say Urso.
I think Mauricio gets number
Urso.
1 this week. Maybe a penalty or something. We make Mauricio the guy.
Yeah, don't let Nani take him because he misses him. Cleon,
3-1.
Nice.
Chicago.
Nope. Orlando.
There you go.
Ooh.
I was going to go 3-1 too, but you know.
No, I feel, and that's I'm not.
Who's
just throwing
scoring the
one.
goals?
Nani's getting at least one,
Nice.
possibly 2. I feel like he's going to be up top. He's going to be in this free roll, and he's good to go. I think Nani. I feel like he's definitely getting one.
Yeah.
Benji or Mueller, one of those two are getting a goal. And I think it's going to be a complete rando on the third.
I just know it's going to be so hard.
Yeah.
I know it's difficult to not start Chris Mueller after he scores the only goal, puts you in a chance to
He
get
was
points.
dangerous in the opener.
I mean, it's so hard to not start him, but I really hope we don't.
Yeah.
Because every time we do, we go back to this whole conversation about how he's just not good enough to start, blah, 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 this and that. You know, he's a great super sub.
But
you
don't you
should
gotta-
embrace it for right now, you know, and score 8 to 10 goals as a super sub, land a nice contract extension, and call it a day. You know, I mean,
Don't you got to reward some form though? I mean, he's been in good form, and
I think you could
I think
reward
that-
form with 30 minutes. Why
I
can't
think
you
so
reward
too.
form with
I mean,
30
look
minutes?
at the NBA. They got the 6-man.
yeah, fair enough.
You know, coming off the bench.
But I don't
And
think
those guys are.
I don't think the alternative is
Or
better.
even with 45 minutes. I mean, if you know at the beginning of the game you're going to get 45 minutes, would you rather have the first 45 or the second 45?
But
I
let's
think
say-
you'd rather have the second
Let's say
45.
Dom was healthy. He's the striker, right? And we have Nani up top. Which, I mean, what has Benji done to warrant, more time? Mueller's earned.
Well, he's not
more.
playing. He wouldn't be playing. If
I
we're
want to
talking about the
see
position-
Nani and Mauricio with Benji because Nani and Mauricio are specifically guys that not only can get in balls over the top but on the ground, but
I
they're
agree with
guys
that.
that are creative in how they do
I
it.
agree with that,
you
but
know?
they've been using Mueller that way, though. I mean, Oscar's doing that for a reason, for trusting Oscar. That's how Oscar's been using Mueller,
Yeah.
and it's been working. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to reward form, his
But I
form
wouldn't
is
do
on.
it. I wouldn't do it yet. Let's get him off the bench.
And Mueller scores early in seasons, and then he fades away. Maximize it. He's got another month of scoring.
I'd give him the second 45. I think you give Benji the first.
Get him as a
And
super
I think
sub.
you leave just Tesho as far away from the pitch this time as possible. Because, no, I mean, no offense, but he gave us 10 goals last year, but we weren't that good. You know what I mean? It's like right now he's just been a clog. It's almost, I'd rather almost just play with an extra midfielder or
a
throw
false nine kind of thing.
Yeah, or have one guy up there other than and only leave Benji up there. You know what I mean? Or only have Mueller up there, then have Tesho up there right now.
I'm not against a Mueller false nine kind of thing.
So for me, I just think you experiment with not playing Tesho for a game.
For me, the reason why I didn't say even saying Benji over Mueller for this is because of the formation I'm talking about. Mueller in that formation, the position, it's not that you're subbing Benji for Mueller, it's you're subbing Nani for Mueller.
But
Because
then-
Nani in that formation, Mueller's not really fit for that wing back type of that thing that they have Benji playing.
Oh, yeah, for
that's
sure.
like a wing back.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I wouldn't sub. If I felt that Mueller can do that role and get back that deep and get back up, then I would play Mueller over
That's
the
true,
top.
but I have Benji still in there. I'm have Tesho out and Mueller in his spot.
So you're starting them both.
On paper it seems like it will work, but it's I don't know. Like that's too non.
And where would you put
That's-
Nani? Just free
No.
floating?
He's talking about having both of them as like both of the forwards, and
Like
for me
4-4-2.
that's like
what we did in preseason.
yeah. For me,
I can't see Mueller as being.
Yeah, I'd rather.
I can't see Nani, and I can't see Nani either. Like Nani's
Well, we don't
like
have a
false.
target. We don't have a target.
That'll be like
Sometimes
two
we-
false nines up there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why.
Mueller
That's the
would be
only reason why Like I would love to be able to, like if I knew it would all work on paper and work defensively and work with hold up and stuff like that, I would much rather.
To be honest,
have
I think
Mueller, Nani, and Benji and Mauricio on at the same time.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I think we're picking hairs, but I think if it's Benji or Mueller, as long as it's one of those two guys with Nani and Mauricio, I think we have a good chance to score a few goals. But if we start Tesho with, I mean, you can only get balls in over the top, and then he's got to head him in, and he's already shown that he's not the best at doing
for
that.
being big, he's not, hold up and stuff.
So for me, it's just
but it would really drop off the map if all you have is Nani and
I
Mueller
think the
up there.
route to goals is on
you
the
need to have Benji in
ground
there, too.
behind center backs using speed.
And let's not forget that 5-2 demolishing, last year, Benji should have had a hat trick. I mean, Pereira that's the whole famous Mauricio telling Benji just to run, I'll get it to you. So we could, maybe we do that again. Because that was Benji's real only shot at the 9, and he excelled, I thought. And I
would love to see him at the 9. I think he could really excel.
Maybe we do that again. But the thing is, we're talking about here, the dilemma we have is if we have Nani out wide, what's the defensive cover,
exactly.
right? That's the dilemma, and that's the hesitation. If you did a 4-2-3-1 and then you had Nani as the left winger and all that, then we're gonna need a lot of help in the midfield because we're gonna have Urso and Sebas covering the wings. Right, and Mendes has shown he can do that, but you do have gaps in the middle, so that's a lot of work. And that's where Tesho's good at that. Yeah, that's where Tesho's good at tracking back and playing defense. He can do that.
I can see the 4-3-2-1.
Yeah,
why not?
I don't know. I feel like it's too much defensive on Nani.
That would be fun. Well, if you played them both at the attacking mids, Mauricio and Nani, and then just played 7 guys, you got your 4. You got Moutinho, Carlos Janssen, and Juan, and then your 3 midfielders. You got Sebas, Urso, and Pereira, and then you can start Pereira and Nani at basically as a double 10 up there, just running around doing whatever the heck they want, and then Benji slipping in behind as a sole striker.
Then maybe we do that 4-4-2. Benji's at that left mid, whatever role that.
It's like a wing. That thing's like a wing back,
I mean, he's getting like to like the.
I'm just tired of seeing him
he's
on
getting
all
as
the
far
time.
as the box on defense,
exactly,
like all the way back, like because what happens is, especially on crosses, they cut in and get tight, compact, and Benji's essentially a left back at that moment,
exactly,
and
playing like a left wing back.
Yeah, exactly. So you keep that, and then maybe you start Tesho at the beginning and give him a shot, and then if he stinks at 45 or take him out or 60, take him out, and then Mueller. And unleash from there. Maybe that's the way to go. Because at least you have a target. You have someone who could track back on defense. And then remember what we had talked about. Whenever they go back to the goalie, the strikers are pressing. And whenever they go wide, the strikers are pressing. So, Tesho can do that. But so can Benji.
I feel like if you did do like the 4-2-3-1 like you were saying, like you might still have to do that, like hiding Nani with letting him go up top. Like defensively. Just him switching with the striker and the striker
on defense,
and but then only really Tesho's the. Well, I guess Benji could too.
But then in your transition,
maybe, I don't know. Maybe
your transition to attack is a bit weird. Dan,
it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird.
Yeah, 4-4-2 for me.
So the only reason I wouldn't start Mueller in that formation is it's defensively. It's not because of offensive.
Yeah.
Goodness, NFL season's been over and they still got the lines.
It's just
that's terrible.
It's just a crazy
well, that's in Mexico.
amount of running.
They played there like week 9 in NFL season, and they still got the lines.
You're saying, Cleon, that if Nani's on the left-hand side, it's just too much running, right?
It's too much for him.
Yeah.
You're just going to burn him out. Then he's going to be trash offensively. So it's like I feel like Nani, like you just need to. You need to let Nani he just needs to be a defender, and you need to hide him. Like, on paper, you would love not to have to hide anybody, but it is what it is. You got a player like that's so much above everybody else. You just have to kind of do what you have to do, especially in a team that lacks attacking talent like we do.
Exactly. Look at even today, the Champions League. Right at the end, there was a lot of all the tactics, and then the Llorente guy, he took on 3 people and scored a goal from outside the box.
I wasn't allowed to see it.
Yeah,
I didn't go to the stadium.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, what happened? My point is with that is that somebody took charge and took a shot and had the cojones to actually.
Well, that's what we need to do here.
That's
take
what
shots.
That's what Nani will do that. And when you get Nani working defensively, what you get is Nani who comes back, gets the ball deep, holds on to it, slows the game down. Right. I want Nani fast for that Oscar Pereira counterpunch. And I need him rested. I don't need him tracking back. And
Don't worry, he's not going to the Euros. They might suspend that till 2021.
There you go. I'm down with that.
So we might have 90 for the full season.
And I think Nani's tired of losing, man. I think Nani's going to come in on man on a mission. Everyone's talking about Dwyer, man on a mission. Great, I hope so. But Nani's like, man, that sucked. No playoffs, and
I
he
agree.
come in here.
But
I
he's
think
used
Nani's
to
motivated.
it. He's used to it with Sporting.
Oh, that's a cheap shot. The numbers don't belie that. Don't belay that, or don't prove that. That's just you.
They don't prove it. They haven't won a championship since 1999.
Well, I mean, they weren't this bad. This is terrible. Okay?
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
there's difference between being third and being 33rd.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
That's
but
what I'm trying to
out
do.
of the top 3 teams in Portugal, it's bad being 3rd or 4th. They're actually 5th right now. But all right, let's talk OCB. Our man of the hour, Cleon. Let's talk OCB.
This is Cleon's monologue on OCB.
Yeah. I got a little bit to add on it, but
All right, so we finally announced the roster, which was like the worst kept secret on the planet. I don't know why they were hiding it so long, because everyone knows who's on the team at this point.
yeah.
We had there's a lot of DA kids on here. And we have some returning ex-DA guys. We have Raul Aguilera Jr. Long time coming. We've been hearing his name since 2014, 15. It's been a long time since we were hearing this name. Little defensive midfielder, 20 years old right now. I guess he dropped out of UNC. So forget that school. Don't need that degree.
Drop out. That sounds
Good
mean.
job,
he
kid.
He left early. Turned pro early.
Left early, whatever. It's still it's dropped out. That's what it is.
Did he drop out or did they just booted him out?
No,
He didn't get booed. Why do you always start and stuff?
Stop it, JJ. He just.
Serious?
I'm just saying.
No,
I'm
no.
not saying.
The UNC coach has ties with us.
Okay.
He was down with it.
No, he
All right, so does NC State.
was
I
right.
mean, that's what I'm talking about. The
Left.
NC State coach has ties with us.
But he went to UNC, so.
We had
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
former DA Nick O'Callahan, who we drafted this year. He signed an OCB contract. Left center back, left back. Another one of those Kamal Miller type guys. A solid player. I hope he gets a lot of playing time down there. We also have we should have Moises Tablante. He'll be back.
No, he's good to go.
Yeah, he'll be
I
back.
could confirm that. Moises is good to go.
Yeah. Austin Amer, he's back from last year. Seems like he's the only one back from last year. Defensive midfielder, also from our academy. He should be homegrown eligible if everything hits right. We brought in some guys that are from international, but they're a lot of them are they have American status. They were born here or whatever. To kind of like Andres on the first team. We have my boy Nacho, one of my favorites.
Ignacio Poplawski.
Yes, Nacho. A lot of people remember him from he was here late last season.
He was a trialist.
training with the
Yeah.
first team.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people saw him in pictures. We're like, who are these guys?
He's from Estudiantes in Argentina.
Yes. How old is he now? 20, 21?
I think
It's
so.
about
something
20.
Like that. Yeah.
20 or 21. Center midfielder. He's a little bit attacking. He's like a good player. I would expect him probably to be one of the starters coming in, or one of the expected starters. I would say him and maybe one of the other guys they brought in,
And,
Adam
Nach-
Ozeri.
Nacho was born in Boca Raton.
Yeah,
another
Boca Raton.
American.
He's American. Adam Ozeri, who we brought in, I can't even remember where we brought him in from.
He's from
Faro
Manocho.
in Argentina. We brought him in from Argentina as well, but he's also American. I don't know where he's born at, but he's also American. He's 22, really tall center midfielder. He's been starting a lot of games, so they'll probably start him as well. Right now, I would say you have Daryl DK, who's not on that roster, but I would expect him down there a lot. In between, I would say probably him, Santi, a lot of games starting. Behind that, you got Big Aki, Alexander Gluvachevich.
Where's he from? Is he from?
He's from right up the road right here.
He's
but
from Lake Mary, but
he's actually from here, but he's
Serbian.
he's
But
also
he's
Serbian.
Serbian.
Yeah, he's also Serbian, but he was born. He's like the other guys. He was born here, so he has an American passport. Tall guy, 6'4", 6'5".
Did he play in
Cleon
Serbia?
got that hookup.
Yeah, he played in Syria. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. He
And
played in
Alex been
Serbia.
Alex has been the Aki has been the starter, right? When we don't drop people down. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, you know how that goes.
Yeah. When you drop people down,
You know
then
how that goes. They
But,
said they sent out from the first team, then you know how that goes.
Yeah.
You gotta-
He's been doing his thing.
Yeah. A pretty good score.
So a lot of people aren't expecting. A lot of our fans think DK can be huge for us, but you're expecting him to spend most of the season at OCB. Would you say?
Yeah, for sure.
Anybody else besides Santi and DK?
I think Bender
think
goes down.
That'll be down. Mason he's most likely going to be down. Bender, everyone's expecting to go down, but he hasn't been sent down at all so far.
How about Loera?
Oh yeah, Lorero's gonna be down as much as DK.
Desart?
I don't think he's gonna be down.
He's in the 18.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be down. I think he's staying up. I mean, it doesn't mean they won't come down at all at any point. But I'm talking about guys that will spend. When I say going to be down, I'm talking about guys that will most likely spend the majority of their season playing for Orlando City B. Mason, we would expect him to start. So I guess we're finally going to see Mason in goal after
So
how
he'll
long's it
be
been now?
basically the starter for OCB.
And none of us have ever seen him.
Yeah.
No Orlando City guys ever seen him suit up and start a game in purple.
I've asked some Orlando
At
people,
any point.
is it good? And they're like, we're not sure.
Yeah,
We haven't seen him that much.
even guys at the team were like, I don't know. Is
he
good?
was on loan
And everyone's
last
like, I don't
year.
know.
Yeah.
It's like we've never actually seen him in a game.
And the other draft pick is what's his name?
Austin
Avisa.
He got sent. He's down. He signed a. He also signed an OCB contract, not an MLS. That's the draftee. He was a pretty highly touted goalkeeper early on in his career. He had a couple setbacks, jumped a couple colleges, but he's a talented goalkeeper. So he could be around depending on what happens with Mason. He'll be in competition with him.
What do you guys think about OCB this year? Last year, we were at the bottom, of course, with SEMA and everything with these young kids. Now we got more mature 20, 21, 22-year-old guys, some with DK and, Santiago and all that. What do you guys think of Orlando City B?
DK's a little youngin',
Well, I know, but the boy's big. He's a big boy. But what do you think?
Child.
What do you think? What do you think this year? Are we going to finish last?
I would hope not. I mean, you're not gonna know until you see this team on the field. You know what I mean? So
you got Marcelo.
Tickets
Supposedly
available
he's a great
on
kid.
sale
yeah,
now?
but I mean, that's hard to
I
say.
don't think we're gonna finish last.
I would hope not.
Like
yeah, you're gonna see a bulk of
It'll
4 or 5 guys each game is probably gonna have an MLS contract. 3 or 4 guys. So yeah, you should be winning.
I
games.
mean, a lot of those teams down there do though. So
yeah, that's not necessarily unique to us.
Yeah,
And
it's
plus
not
there's
unique to us.
There's no continuity. It's not just like, they're better because they're MLS players and they're just going to rake it.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. So
Yeah.
who else is on there, Cleo?
we've had some internationals come down. That we have some guys on loan, like Mateos Rodas, the 22-year-old center back. He's been pretty impressive.
Yeah.
From everything I'm hearing, he's been pretty impressive at center back. So,
He's Colombian.
yes, Colombian,
And
22.
Pareja did say when they mentioned a Colombian journalist, asked him about
said that
about him. He said he plans to bring him in the B team, and the plans are for first team.
Yeah, that he hopes he can, jump up to the first team.
Yep.
We also have Franklin Carabali. I don't know if you guys have seen this tape, bro. I watched this tape. That dude's, he might have a few. Wow, that was a rocket.
Whoa!
Wow,
That
that
guy
was a
scored
rocket.
like a banger from deep on Brad Guzan.
Wow.
Based on the football imprint on it was about 30-yard field goal, give or take.
Oh my god. Mike Holiday. I want to talk about this guy.
Yeah, he went to Cancun with that.
Yes, he's one of the ones that the two really talk is the one youngest kid on the roster who's Thomas, the other center. He's a center back. Thomas Williams.
Yeah.
He's only 16. He got called up to like the U17. He got called up to the United States U17. Started a game recently. He's the other kid that went to Cancun.
Mm-hmm.
Big 6'3", 6'4" center back. He's about 6'3",
that dude's
6'4".
big, man.
He's tall. He's a tall one. Halliday looks like he's almost as tall sometimes when you look at him standing next to each other. But
Yeah.
apparently, and I guess I'll have to wait to. I find it hard to believe, but I've heard rumors that Halliday is the fastest player. Period.
So they did the beep test.
No,
in
I don't
Cancun?
mean on OCB.
Yeah, you're talking about the
Period.
Even with
In the
Juan?
entire
Benji?
Orlando
Benji.
City.
Yeah.
He don't. I'm sorry.
Professor and who
They
on?
say he has some jets.
Really?
He's a center back?
No, he's a right
No,
back.
the other-
He's actually a
Williams
right.
is-
I thought he
Williams
was
is a center back.
I thought Halliday. I actually thought Halliday was a center back. To be honest with you.
Really? Because of his size?
Yeah, he's tall.
Yeah. I mean, but maybe he's got that long stride.
They say
Is
say he has jets. Oh, they got scored on again.
2-0.
Oh, 2-0.
Atlanta, you're
Oh,
done,
look
bro.
at Piojo going crazy. Wow.
Yeah, but they say this dude has jets.
Yeah.
Like
wow.
he's possibly the fastest in all of Orlando.
So that's someone to kind of put a little star next to, right? Michael
Yeah.
Holiday, U.S.
Yeah, so I
U17.
have to see this. I have to see this for myself.
Was it the first team? Look at guys like Pepe over there, and in Dallas, he scored a game winner. He's one of those young kids who was with the North Texas USL League One team last year. He killed it, and look, he's making an impact on the first team. So Oscar and his boys have done this before. So Halliday's a guy, worth watching, I guess. That's cool.
Yeah, Franklin Carabali, the other guy we got from he's Ecuadorian, I believe, center back.
I think so. Yeah.
We brought him in on loan. I don't know if you guys have seen his tape,
No, I haven't.
but this dude, I feel like if they play him,
Yeah.
he's gonna lead. He's gonna lead USL 1 in red cards and send offs.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about reckless.
Like as crazy as like Amro's original tape was. Remember, he was just like it was like 80% slide tackles.
Yes, that's what it looked like, except for like imagine way more out of control. Way more out of control.
Really? Yeah.
Way more out of control.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't
Hey,
know.
last year OCB had their temper problems.
Yeah, we might still have them.
Nice.
We might still have
Yeah, people
All
scared
right,
us.
whatever.
Yeah, and who else we got? That's about everyone.
David Lorette. Yeah,
Yeah.
we just the last guy just got in, Dos Santos.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like 5 names. So I'm just calling him Dos Santos.
Yeah.
20. He's Brazilian. About 21 years old. Looks like he looks like he's like a attacking mid, maybe wide attack. So I guess we're gonna.
Oh
need
yeah.
a bit
I
of
saw
that.
the tape on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like what Serginho did last year for OCB, but Serginho's on loan himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's what I'm
kinda-
saying. Like
kinda
that's
similar.
what that's
Yeah,
what he
it's kinda
reminded
similar.
me of.
Yeah. I can see that.
Ooh.
Yeah, a lot similar. But I would say my early prediction for I would say star of that team. I'm gonna go with Lorea.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Lorea.
I liked what I saw Lorea in the preseason, and hopefully he blossoms because we saw in this game that Andres Perea, he had some moments where he had some nice forward passing, and he was the guy connecting the middle to the forwards, right? But he's still 19 and defensive midfielder. We don't have any depth behind Mauricio Pereira.
Yeah.
So hopefully Lorea can develop in OCB and take it from there because we're gonna need him.
All right. Well, that was your OCB talk.
Hey guys, tickets on sale. You can check out the game. It's at Kissimmee at the Firefrogsville Stadium. Support these guys. Let's not talk about we want an academy and a pipeline and nobody cares or pays attention.
And hopefully we even have games. Because right now
everything is
it's
up in the air.
We could have just predicted a whole season that's not going to happen. We could have predicted a whole game that's not going to happen this weekend.
Well,
So
the NBA is suspended. The games in Europe are all being on closed doors.
Italy is not playing for a month.
So,
yeah, it's crazy at that time.
you got the Juventus player that has coronavirus now. They told Ronaldo.
Who was it?
Their defender.
Oh, the
Yeah,
defender, Ragnioli or something.
Yeah,
like that?
so he has coronavirus. They told Ronaldo not to come back to Italy to stay in the Madeira
Ronaldo's
Islands.
like Rob Lowe's character in Parks and Recreation, where he has no body fat and he can't fight any disease.
It's
It's
a crazy situation for sure. So I'm sure we'll
But
find out more.
But remember, this happened with SARS. This happened with the H1N1 swine, all that other stuff too. So
It's a crazy
Everybody
time,
wash
so.
your hands.
just wash your hands, and if you're coughing, put your hand in front of your mouth, or go somewhere where there's nobody around. Just be cautious.
My mom texted me a few moments ago, said, "Hey, you're too close to the microphone. Be careful because of the coronavirus."
I have 2 spots for the rally tunnel this weekend. If
Okay.
you've listened to the whole pod, once again,
Watch to be the same guy for last time.
hit me up, and I will. If it's you, Eric, I will give you the 2 spots again to the rally tunnel.
Uh-huh.
assuming the game goes on. I know they got rid
Well,
of
they just have
the kids walking, but I don't know if they'll still do the rally tunnel. I'm sure I'll find out more.
They might not hold hands with the kids.
But if they are doing the rally tunnel, I do have 2 spots, and I will give those away. So you let me know.
And
time to bring out the dogs like in Chile.
Bro, I
You have
really
to
had
get there
I
3
really
hours.
had to
You
pull
have to
that-
get there
I
3
really had to
hours
pull
early.
that one back just now.
You have to get there 3 hours early.
He said they pulled the kids from it, and I almost
No,
you know
we
that
don't need
meme?
none of that.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
it came straight to my mind.
yeah.
I
The
had to
Jordan,
pull
the
it
Jordan
back.
meme, right?
I almost forgot where I was.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. We got to keep our rating family friendly.
so
I had to pull that one back, bro.
and don't forget Juju over here.
Yeah.
You know,
Hopefully my phone didn't die.
It's
If
2
it
weeks
did,
in a row.
we don't have a recording. So
yeah.
I don't know if I need a final ruling on Rudy Gobert, bro. I'm not sure if he counts.
Oh,
he's from Guadalupe, man.
Yeah, but he's like
What is he?
Yeah.
he's
I
50,
was
he's
kinda-
50-50. He's 50,
I was thinking the same
50
thing.
over here, 50 over there. I, don't
I was
really-
thinking the same thing, Clem.
50-50. I don't know.
Maybe he only has Corona, not
Yeah.
the virus part.
We should end with that.
All right, guys. We'll see. Let's go Orlando for Saturday against Chicago, 7:30 at Exploria Stadium. Well, that is it for our show. We'll see you next week if we have a
And
game.
one more thing, don't you have to tell us about some team down south?
What about him?
I believe they still haven't won a game.
Oh no, they still losers.
Every game, right?
Yeah, they still haven't won. They still haven't won a game.
Still permanent losers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they still haven't won a game.
That uniform. What is that?
It's trash,
It
bro.
is
It looks like somebody
terrible.
got
Someone
it
like
mixed
washed
up in the wash.
Yeah, the grandmother's sweater got mixed and
Can't
washed up
they
with
get-
her T-shirt, and they
Can't
got pink
Dan
shorts.
Marino at least throw his name on the front for like the first couple weeks until
Foundation?
they figure out the oil money?
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
can you
for real,
imagine? Can you
right?
imagine if they
Exactly.
go with Corona right now?
Yeah, for real, right? They got to go with a different beer. Tecate's jumping on this. Hey guys, you don't want that on your shirt or Bimbo.
Modelo.
All right.
Modelo. Medallion.
Thanks.
Hey, who's party? No parties or what? What's going on?
No goals, no party, right?
Got Corona, no party.
That's it. See you guys next week right here at Orlando Lions Den Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Orlando Lions Den Podcast. Until next time, be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook and at OrlandoLionsDen.com.